why is it a good investment? Because number one, it appreciates, right? So meaning that the value is always going to go up. But that's also a lie, because it's not always going to go up.
Yeah, you know what it is, back again, another episode, second episode of 2021. Welcome back everyone. I hope you guys have kickstarted the year, given the current economic conditions, but I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is doing what they need to do in the most safest way possible, dog.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm always good, bro.
Oh, really? Anyway, so today we have a very, very interesting topic. It's obviously a topic that is going to affect all of us at some point in our lives, and that is property. You know a lot about property.
I know, but yeah.
You know, so you've been in the game for
about a year or two.
Year or two, né? You and Shamira. So yeah, so guys, today I'm going to take a step back as a student, because you know, much like a lot of you guys who are probably watching this, I don't know much about property. So today, dog, hopefully you can give us some insight as to why it's a good investment. What are some of the strategies when it comes to buying properties, and obviously the nitty-gritties.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
things go on.
Exactly, bro. So yeah, so obviously just the basics today. It's, as you know, property is a huge, it's a huge topic. You know, so it's something that we're gonna talk about over and over again. We're gonna go deeper into certain things about property, but today is just the basics. And yeah, bro, so take it away. Why is it a good investment, dog, to invest in property?
It's a very broad topic, bro. So there's like, to explain it, I don't think I'm the greatest at explaining it, but I can give you a basic overview of what property, you know, why it's like to invest in property. So you know, your first question was, why is it a good investment? Because number one, it appreciates, right? So meaning that the value is always going to go up. But that's also a lie, because it's not always going to go up. It depends on your area. I'll give you a good example. So, you know, I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Rosettenville and Turfentine, right?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people do know the area, but once upon a time it was a very, you know, upper class area.
Nice area,
Yeah, and property market there depreciated. Right, so it never appreciated, just depreciated. But then you get your areas like Sandton, your Fourways, and where you see apartments coming up, you see malls coming up, like Mall of Africa and stuff. So obviously if you had a property there and that mall was built, your property value starts appreciating automatically, because you're close to a shopping center. You're close to a shopping center, right? So it's ease of access to something. The moment you have ease of access to something, your properties will increase. If someone opens up, if the government decides, there's a park here, right? Government decides they want to open up a school there. In that park, your value for property will appreciate, because it's ease of access to a school that's right here, right? So depending on the structures around you, that will determine your value, right? So something that people don't know was, like, for example, you know how you see the guys just place their shacks in different places, where they find the open field.
Space,
Government can't break that down, though.
Really?
Yeah, they can't, because number one, they provide housing for themselves, right? Because the government can't provide housing for them. So I can't, as government, now come and take away your land, not your land, your house.
Your house, yeah.
Right? I'd have to give you notice. And that's why you see wherever the shacks are built, right?
Yeah.
It's going to stay there. And you'll see more and more coming in that same space. You will never see it moving away, because that's housing. A government can't come and say, listen, this is not your land.
So when they, you know, there's this famous politician that says, occupy vacant land. And people actually occupy vacant land. Would you say it's the legal right if they erect a shack?
No, it's not the legal right.
But they protect it.
It's a necessity.
It's a necessity.
You have to have housing, right?
Yeah.
But as government, you can't take it down. Let's give an example. If I own the land and someone comes to build something on my land, it's my land, right? I'm able to evict them, but I'd have to go through a whole case. I'd have to open up a court case to get them off my property.
Damn. That's the I don't. It's just crazy for me, dog, because you just erecting a structure on a vacant land. You have no like, you don't have paperwork, you don't have the title deed or whatever, you know. You're just see open land and just
place it there.
And you can't immediately evict these people because they protected by some kind of
by a need.
By a need,
yeah.
You know? It's crazy. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
So that's and it's not a topic that's honestly spoken about. I've spoken about it to my family and friends.
Yeah.
But like that's just something that people didn't know. And you know, now that you know, you can go erect your land, your house anywhere.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Damn. But they can get evicted after you've done.
They can, yeah. They can. It's like a similar case with some housing that some house we went to go see.
Yeah.
They take a picture of the house, right, but the outside of the house.
Yeah.
And you call the agent, they said no, it's been hijacked.
Okay.
So meaning that the people are living in there.
Yeah.
But they own the deeds. That agency owns the deeds.
Okay.
So they're trying to sell the property. But there's people already living in there. So if you as the buyer want to buy this property, you now have to go through a court case to get these people evicted.
From my property?
From the one that you buy.
Yeah.
Can I just add?
Yeah.
That can take months.
Yeah, it's like even
it's
even
not
years.
A straightforward process. It's a very long process.
There is the other process of I know someone who can sort this out quickly.
Yeah.
Where they just come and toss you out of your.
Yeah.
There is that process, right? Obviously, that's illegal.
Yeah.
Because that's like assault. So there's that process, but there is like you have to follow the court, the whole procedure of having someone evicted, even though you bind the land, the house actually.
Is this the same case for, you know, in Joburg CBD? You see a lot of these big buildings, these abandoned buildings where people always, you know, occupy these spaces. And I, as an owner, for example, I haven't like used this building for like 10, 15 years. But then when I go and say I want to open up a school or college, there's people living there.
Yeah, you can ask them to leave, right? If they're saying no, you can't toss them out.
Yeah.
Right, because that's their shelter. Like they need somewhere to stay.
Even though they hijack the building.
Yeah.
It's rightfully by need.
By need, they need somewhere to. They need shelter, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to get them if they're refusing to go. And obviously you're not the person who's going to go through that. One of my friends will sort it out. Don't worry. If you're not going through that process, you have to go through a court process to say I need this. I have this many people in my building. I need them evicted.
Yeah.
And it's going to take months because it's a common problem. In Turffontein, there's been over 5 houses that we've seen that's been hijacked, and there's nothing. If I buy it, I can buy it, right? It's cool. But now I don't have access to the property itself. I'd have to first get a lawyer to come and help me with the whole procedure. But I think so that's just some fun facts actually. So if you go back to the benefit of going into the industry, right? You have passive income. So every month you're getting money from this building, right? And if something is, like I said, the structure is built near it, your property increases, you have to increase your pricing as well, and you just get more money, and that's your passive income coming through, right? But there is a lot of different strategies you can take buying a property. Maybe you don't want to rent it out. Maybe you want to buy, fix and resell, right? That's called flipping. So you want to flip a property. There's that strategy. There's another strategy called no money down. Right, so that's when you almost look for investors, and you use them to buy. You give them sort of like a case study, like this is what the property is worth, and we can get the property at this price, but you would have to put in so much, right? So you are putting in nothing besides the research and going to see the house or whatever. Then you put in together a little document, like a proposal, right? And you give this to them, like, hey guys, this is the property I have, so big, so many rooms, blah blah blah. You would need to put down so much, and then you make so much from here. Just to keep this high level, right? There's different strategies in property. It's not as simple, let's buy a property and rent it out. Sometimes you could even be losing funds from doing that. And this is where the next step comes in making sure that your numbers are correct. Right? So by numbers, I mean like your electricity bill, your water bill. If it's in a complex, right, there's your levies you have to pay. So sometimes all of that comes into play, and the amount that you're charging is not actually making you much profit. Right? You could be just making like $200 and you don't know, because you haven't done the calculations as to all the other stuff that factors into buying a property. Like you have to understand also the value of the market. So of a specific area. Like if someone says Sandton, we know it's upmarket.
Yeah.
Someone says Rosettenville and Turfentine, we know it's downmarket.
Yeah.
Like the value of that property versus value in Sandton is two completely different things.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that market. Like our property is worth 1 million in this area, yes or no? Sometimes you look at the structures of the property, you can go very far in detail. Like you can look at the structures, you can look at the gutters, you look at the paint, you know, is it coming out, what's happening? You look at the mold on the floors, like is there mold? That means that tells you there's water somewhere. It's either dripping down or it's underground. You know, something's happening, right? And you get the damp wall as well. To a naked eye, you can't really see it. You get the tools that you can test against the wall, right? And you press the button, it'll tell you if this wall is damp or not. And then there's also transfer costs. You know, that's an added cost. If you are buying a house, you'll pay transfer costs to transfer. So it was on Shoni's name, it's now on my name, right? So I got to pay transfer costs for that whole procedure. And the transfer costs can vary, but you're looking at about 20-something thousand at minimum for transfer costs.
Damn.
And that you got to pay out, obviously, from your wallet.
Just suit your name.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because that you got to pay the conveyancer attorneys. So that's the next thing. Like you have to have contracts in place. Contracts are the most important thing here. When you place in an offer for a house, you never say, okay, you never text or call and say, I'm offering 1.2. That means nothing. Because the agent there will say, okay, cool, I agree to that. And then when you start to sign the papers, you'll see on the paper it'll say 1.3, 1.4. And then you'll be arguing, and they'll say, oh no, we never had it in paper. What happens is you gotta have them send you a copy of the offer to purchase. All right, you get a conveyancer attorney to go through it to see if everything is to your standards. All right, there's nothing that they're trying to cheat you on or whatever. And then you say, okay, cool. You write the number 1.2 million, and then next to it, obviously in words as well, 1,200,000 something thousand, whatever. So you have to have that written down. If you don't, bro, it's a blank deal. Shit. Even if you offer 1.2, right? So let's say the person wants 1.5 for their house, you put an offer on the paper for 1.2, send it back to them. They say no. Could you maybe increase it? Okay, so obviously now we're going through a negotiation phase. And then you say, okay, cool, you go back to the original offer to purchase they sent you, print that out again, type in, write in 1.3 million, and resend that one. You never come back with the text and say, okay, I'll offer 1.3. You have to come back with another paper, another OTP that says 1.3. It's a lot of admin in the process.
A lot, no?
Yeah.
Oh, such a costly expense.
It's a great investment, right? But there are people who teach how to invest in property. That's how we learned.
Yeah, and on that point though, because I think you're dropping a lot of valuable information there, and someone on the other side is kind of like, how does this guy, he's probably like 20, 21, 20 whatever, know so much about property, you know? Yeah. So how did you actually like accumulate this knowledge, bro?
So we actually went for a course, right? Yeah. I'm not going to say the company's name that we went to.
Yeah.
It's quite a pricey course, if I'm being honest. First they had a 2-day class, right? The 2-day class was, at that time, was 6,000 rand, right? But I was able to bring one person with me. So my girlfriend and I said, it's cool, we'll split that half-half. Like you did a 2-day class, right? They explain high level, just like how I explain stuff to you now. Very high level. And if you want to go through this process with a mentor, they have mentors available. So depending on what your income was, they would provide you with those mentors. Okay. Why I don't know, but that was just their process of doing things. Maybe some mentors wanted high earners, maybe some of low earners. I don't know. So after that, they give you like 3 profiles. You can choose from these 3 people, but there's additional cost to that. That cost was like another 35 each. So 70K course, right? So it was quite pricey, and you had to pop out those funds if you had them available now. If you didn't, you could pay a deposit, but you have like a month to get the next batch. And I won't lie, bro, it was a stressful period, because obviously that's to just pop out 35,000 is not something.
Do that,
it's not like, even if you have, it's not like you want to. Like, who wants to just pop out 35,000 for something that's not guaranteed?
Exactly.
You know. So we done that whole process, and you had to pop out the funds. and then we had a mentor for 6 months. And he was good at what he does, and obviously that's how we acquired our knowledge. But most of the knowledge came from going to see the properties.
Practical experience.
Practical experience, exactly that. So you have to go and see you have to go see the property. You have to go. You have to get a contract. You have to sign it and say, is this fine? Is that fine? Like he was there to guide you in the process. So it was a journey to experience, and that's how we learned so much. I mean, there's even softwares you can download. Well, you don't download, you pay for it, right? So you have access into property values.
Oh, okay.
So if I want to see how much your property is worth, I just take your address and I type it in there, and I can see who was the last buyer of the property, and I can tell when who bought it before that as well. So it shows the history of the property.
Does it comes with the course, or is it just a separate?
Well, it doesn't come with the course. You have to buy it yourself. You pay for it monthly. It's a monthly subscription fee. But it's quite pricey as well. You're looking at about 600 plus just to have that subscription fee. And if you want to pull the person's contact details, you can pull that person's contact details.
Wow.
So you can contact the homeowners directly and sort of surpass the agents.
Okay.
Right? Because when dealing with agents, also that's another strategy almost. You have to deal with the agent, right? Then there's the other one where you deal directly with the homeowner. That's the most ideal situation.
Yeah.
Because I can negotiate directly with you. When I'm with an agent, I have to negotiate with the agent. But the agent's also trying to make their cut, and the owner doesn't want to lose out on their funds because the owner has to pay the agent in any case, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like I said, different strategies, bro. But that's just how we acquire the knowledge.
So to this day, bro, how many properties have you purchased and sold, or how many properties do you have?
So the first year was a test run.
Yeah.
Right. So we literally ran with nothing, bro. I think we put out like almost 30 OTPs.
Yeah, probably even more.
Yeah, 30 plus of its purchases OTPs, right? In that first year, obviously it's an experience. It takes time, a lot of time, because we have full-time jobs, so you gotta do stuff after work.
Yeah.
Right, to go visit the properties, and weekends are full of just visiting. And then we had nothing. The second year, we tried a different strategy. Also, it didn't work out too well.
Okay.
But also, it's a very long-term game.
Yeah.
It's not a get rich quick.
Right now, yes.
Like even just to register a property can take up to 6 months.
Okay.
To get a property from your name into my name.
Yeah.
It can take up to 6 months, right? At that worst scenario. But we haven't had a lot of, how can I say, successes, right? We've had a lot of knowledge and learnings in it, but not a lot of successes. And then COVID hit. So when COVID hit, it was like it almost put us out the game, if I could say that. Like, we're literally restarting this year, trying to focus on properties as well. It hasn't been a good, strong point, but it will be for this year.
Definitely.
But I think in terms of success, that's just how you define it. Because the amount of knowledge and reading and experience that we had, like, through it all, was, I think, more valuable than just getting your first property.
Yeah, managed with one of the strategies to pull out some funds.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's a sourcing strategy.
Sourcing strategy.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, interesting stuff, man. I'm sure you can tell that we can sit here the whole day. Because this is a very deep industry, deep topic with a lot of stuff that we can obviously unpack. So, but let's leave it there for now, guys. You've heard him. Why it's good, why property is a good investment, what are some of the strategies, and obviously all the other nitty-gritties like conveyances and stuff, that I didn't even know, bro. Like, I always see, there by the claim is a conveyancer, and what the fuck is a conveyancer?
Yes, the conveyancers actually, I don't know if I mentioned it.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Did I mention it?
You mentioned all that.
For them to draw up the contracts for you and whatever.
So hopefully you guys are, you learned something just as much as I did. Now I can obviously add on to my knowledge when it comes to property, because it is a very good investment.
It's a lucrative investment.
You understand? So let's do that, guys. Let's leave it there for today. thank you, Ramiro and Shamira, for the knowledge. Obviously, in the next coming episodes, we'll start unpacking and going deeper into these strategies. We'll go deeper into sourcing funding. We'll go deeper into also other things that are involved in the property industry, you know?
Yeah.
So this is like a young intro. So let's leave it there, guys.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
It was interesting talking about it. I actually miss it now that I'm speaking about it.
I can tell, bro. So hopefully this is a nice kickstart to your engine.
I think
bro,
so,
for the year, bro. You know what I mean?
Think
yeah. So guys, you got questions? No?
Yeah.
You got questions about how this whole engine kind of works? Remember, they're not like property gurus, guys. Please. He's not Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
He's not Grant Cardone. He's just someone who's also learning through his experiences. But if you have questions, guys, pop them in our DMs or our comment section or wherever. You feel free to obviously share the questions and then we'll take you from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Peace, guys.
Sharp.